spetta a me il grato compito di introdurre il primo relatore, anzi una relatrice, e questo è già un elemento significativo. È già stata nominata Lindi Harvey del National Park Service degli Stati Uniti, di cui è vice direttore dall'ottobre del 2007. Non resta molto da dire, credo che tutti conoscano questa importante organizzazione statunitense. Gestisce qualcosa come 381 parchi nazionali, vi lavorano 20.000 dipendenti, 140.000 volontari, vengono visitati ogni anno da 275 milioni di persone. È chiaro che la realtà americana non è assolutamente paragonabile con quella europea, ma si tratta comunque di esperienze di punta molto importanti che meritano appunto la prolusione in questo evento internazionale. Lindi Harvey è responsabile degli uffici per i centri visitatori, gli affari internazionali, la pianificazione, i programmi di assistenza statali e locali, le attività di formazione, quelle di educazione rivolte ai bambini, alle loro famiglie, ai visitatori stranieri. Sta lavorando per preparare al meglio il sistema dei parchi statunitensi in vista delle celebrazioni per il 100° anniversario del National Park Service, pensate, previsto per il 2016. Ecco, si comincia molto per tempo. La invitiamo e la ringraziamo per la sua graditissima presenza.
Buongiorno. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to represent the United States National Park Service during this auspicious occasion. It is encouraging to see so many leaders of the world's protected areas here today, and I know the outcome of this national conference will be a great success. I wish to extend congratulations to Dolomiti Bellunisi National Park for their 15 years of hard work, dedication, and protection of natural areas. I wish you the very best in the years to come. The United States National Park Service opens its arms to help you as you continue in your honorable journey. It is truly a privilege to work for the National Park Service, and I hope the information that I share with you today will be helpful and provides for a discussion among our various countries to expand partnerships and relationships. On August 25, 1916, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson signed legislation creating the National Park Service, establishing a precedent of appreciation of environmental protection and enjoyment of natural areas. This was a significant moment for celebration as countless members of Congress, environmental leaders, businessmen, and local residents have fought tirelessly to make a unified voice for the National Service and national parks. This legislation brought together the existing 35 national park sites and created an organizational structure and systematic management of the park resources and facilities of these prized locations. Today, with over 275 million visitors, our goal is to balance the visitors' desire for recreational experiences with the protection of resources. We face difficult decisions on allowing certain park uses. We have guidelines as to what is considered an appropriate use in the parks, such as hiking and photography, which leave park resources unimpaired. And yet, at the same time, we are faced with visitor interests such as snowmobiling, use of personal watercraft, and the use of off-road vehicles. All of these activities have a place and time for use. The National Park Service is working on establishing guidelines on these activities, but often policy on many activities is made on a case-by-case basis, requiring park superintendents at a certain park site to make decisions based on their local resource concerns and the level of acceptable use. We may grant permits from some activities in one park, but not allow them in another. In our first 100 years, we have certainly learned many lessons, some of which I'd like to share with you today. For example, one of our policies is to create policies before they are needed. We tend to be reactive rather than proactive in creating policy, waiting until an event or incident requires our attention on how to fix the issue or how to avoid the same mistake from happening again. A substantial number of employees, including park managers, would rather not have extensive policies. They would prefer to simply use their own judgment when making decisions. And sometimes in specific situations, that works. However, in order for the National Park Service to be at its most effective level, we must have a universal set of policies to orchestrate the magnitude of the business organization and at the same time adhere to the National Park Service mission. Another policy is to reach out to the public and gain their insights, as well as offer an opportunity to provide an understanding of our point of view. With more than 20,000 employees and nearly 400 parks, we have a huge challenge in communicating our policies to all of those who need to have an understanding of the decisions that we make every day. It is vitally important that we engage with the public to better understand their perspective and to share with them the basis for our policies and our decisions. One of our biggest challenges is to articulate why we do the things we do and make the decisions we do. Over the years, the leadership of the National Park Service has conducted listening sessions around the country to engage our employees, citizens, and community leaders in such a conversation. We just did this again last year with over 40 such sessions. This provided invaluable information and insights into their individual and collective desires and interests. An important policy that we learned was not to overbuild. Over the years, as the United States population grew and incomes increased, more and more American families, as well as international visitors, came to the parks to enjoy lengthy vacations. The increase in visitation led the Park Service to build many new visitor centers. The visitors certainly enjoyed the centers and shared their desire for the Park Service to create more so that the majority of the park sites provided such a service. But in doing so, the visitor centers produced a huge demand on maintenance needs such as repair and rebuild, and required an increase in personnel and government funding to manage these facilities. This created a drain on the National Park Service budget. So while we increased the number of visitor centers and increased the need for funds to manage the facility, we did not receive simultaneous increases to our budget, and today our dollar is stretched very thin. This has proved to be one of the biggest lessons that we have learned along the way. We learned that as we plan for the future, we must be mindful not to overbuild, but instead focus on daily functions of the parks and the programs that enhance visitor experiences. Environment impact. While we are looking at the issue of funding and maintenance needs, we must also be concerned about what environmental impacts we create by building visitor centers, as well as hotels and lodges within our parks. As an example is the lesson we learned at one of our California park units, Sequoia National Park, where we had just finished removing a massive village of hotels, cabins, and visitor facilities from a grove of giant sequoia trees. While the village was a visitor favorite, its location greatly impacted the growth and reproduction of the great sequoias. Today there is a massive rehabilitation project in the area to restore the health of the trees. Visitor centers and hotels today are now more commonly built outside the national park. By making this change, we also make possible economic opportunities for the gateway communities to provide hotel accommodations, restaurants, and gift shops for visitors going to the park. Another lesson learned is the carrying capacity issue. And we are involved in learning about this and how to provide transportation of visitors inside the parks. We have not yet discovered the answer or the secret to carrying capacity, but one must consider how many cars are too many for the park to handle. Some of the questions we are asking ourselves include, do we have a plan for how the park will handle